Hello everybody and welcome back to Sweet Sour Soccer, and the weekend is finally upon us. But if you're a Wolves fan, that is not the only reason to be happy, because it's been a really good 48 hours for us. Lamina confirmed. He could even be in the squad tomorrow. We found out Sarabia is getting closer to being done with PSG. And then another signing has appeared, and one that is likely to be completed in the coming days. And it's the reason that you guys have clicked on this video. It is, of course, Joao GOMES, the young Brazilian talent who has been described as a potential wonder kid, is going to be joining us. And it's very interesting, isn't it? Because, of course, we have tried to go into the Brazilian market, or South American market, I should say, before with Enzo Fernandez. Of course, that one didn't arrive, and we won't talk about that one anymore. But this time it looks like we have got our Brazilian superstar in Joao GOMES. On this video, guys, I'm going to be telling you a bit more about the player, what exactly he's about. Basically, what I'm going to aim to do on this video is save you having to go and do all the research and finding out about him like I did. So hopefully you can just get it in a nice bite-sized video. And in return, if you're not subscribed, please do subscribe to the channel and hit that like button as well. But let's jump in and speak about the player, because Joao GOMES, the 21-year-old who plays as a centre midfielder, and I'm going to go into this in a bit more, actually, because he predominantly plays as a centre defensive midfielder, but there is a lot to that to unpack. And by the time you get to the end of the video, you maybe will realise why I'm being so abrasive around it at the start, just purely because there's just so much to talk about on it. And as I mentioned, he is coming from Brazil. He currently plays with Flamengo in the Brazilian league. And it was rumoured that the transfer fee is going to look around the 80 million euro mark. It's been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, actually, earlier this morning, that that is going to be the likely transfer fee. Now, what's really interesting about this is the fact that in this transfer window, Newcastle have been showing interest. It looks like we've beaten them to it. But if we go back to the summer, there was also Liverpool interested as well. And at the time, a transfer fee of around £53 million was being quoted at the time. Whether that was ever going to be realistic, I don't know. But of course, it does feel that like we're getting a really good deal for 18 million, especially when you consider that, you know, the likes of Newcastle, Liverpool were interested. Apparently, Real Madrid have been monitoring as well. So he's obviously a player that is had a lot of attention and a lot of excitement around him. And that segues me into my next thing, because speaking about what kind of type of player he is, well, I did mention that Liverpool were interested, and maybe that could be because of the way that he's been compared to another Brazilian player, a Premier League player as well, which we will know very well in Fabinho, in the way that he plays, because he has been compared to Fabinho in Brazil. And the main reasons for that is his ball recovery and just his defensive ability as a defensive midfielder. He can be seen as the anchor, the guy that's going to pick up the balls, win back possession, and his stats have been really phenomenal in those areas. And in fact, there's a lot more to unpack about him than just that, though, because he has been compared to Fabinho. A bit like how Fabinho is actually filled in at times when I think I'll go back to a couple of seasons ago, or even last season when Liverpool had defensive problems. He did play that centre-back role, and kind of similar to what we've seen a bit from our very own Ruben Neves. There has been clips before and stats before of obviously Joao GOMES pulling back into almost a centre-back role, almost within the back three, I should say, to get the ball and start going up the pitch and getting it forward, which ties into some of his other abilities as well. He's very good at dribbling. He's very good at ball carrying. He has got, although it's not as transparent and so obvious as a player like, a Brazilian player like such as Neymar or Gabriel Jesus, for example, he does still have that typical Brazilian flair, which you would associate with a Brazilian player. He's very good at dribbling. He's got a skill or two to him, and he's got that Brazilian confidence about him as well. So, he isn't afraid to pick up the ball. And that's another thing which, when you have a look into what he's really done well in terms of statistics wise, he's very good. He's been very good at actually passing the ball on. but then also receiving the ball. So he likes to get himself up and about the pitch. You know, looking at his heat maps, he's all over the pitch. He's very much a box-to-box player. One thing that has been brought up on a weakness, and this makes me think he'll probably fit right in, is the fact that he doesn't get many goals or assists. Now, there is a caveat to that, though, and I could say, you know, kind of give a description as to why, but let's hear from the player himself. This was something that he said when actually questioned about it some time ago. I feel that he said, I hear that a lot. I don't know how to create. I'm stealing more balls than I'm setting up, but I still know how to set up. And I think the main reason that he's maybe been discredited for maybe his finishing abilities just because of how he's been used. He has been used more as that defensive midfielder, but he can play and get further up the pitch. And he went on further within that discussion as well to basically just say, you know, come on, I'm not being put in those positions to actually be able to assist, be able to score goals. So, you know, you can go through my stats and it might not look very great in terms of goals and assists, but I'm doing a completely different role here. You know, I'm not doing the role where I will be in a position to get goals and assists. But, you know, he's sort of saying, put me in those positions and I've got that part of me. I've got that part of me to my game. And I think this is what's really interesting about him is he is a complete midfielder from what we're seeing and from what I'm diving into. He does look like he could be a centre defensive midfielder. He does look like he could do a bit of a box-to-box role. And one player that does ring to mind with that is kind of similar to what we're now seeing from Nunes. Obviously, we didn't see the best of him under Bruno Lage, but we're starting to see now maybe why we signed him, why there's so much like plaudits about him to basically move on at the end of the season or next season to a big club such as Liverpool. And you know, you feel that he could be similar to Nunes in that way, which kind of makes me think, you know, is this going to be an absolutely unreal signing? And does it move us on to my last point that I wanted to speak about? The three midfielders, of course, Joao Moutinho, Ruben Neves, and Nunes, or as he likes to be called, I should say, Mateus, doesn't he? He doesn't like to actually be called by his last name, so I should start calling him by his name, Mateus, rather than Nunes. But yes, these three guys, a lot of speculation around these and their future at Wolves for very different reasons. Of course, Joao Moutinho coming towards the end of his career now. It does feel like he's a little bit over the hill, so to speak. Now, I think he's lost a yard or two, particularly this season, and I just don't think he's quite able to play a full 90 minutes now, is he? Either. And then the two guys on the left, of course, in Neves and Mateus. Of course, both of these have been linked with moves away. Neves with just 18 months on his contract. And you've also got Nunes, Mateus, who's already being linked with a potential move to Liverpool in the summer. And we're kind of made to feel when he did sign that we'd probably get him for a season or two before he went on to, you know, a really big club, in all honesty. And it makes you think maybe we're being a bit more proactive. And does this show a new sign? Of course, we have seen people within the club moving on, going and, you know, new roles being created, a new regime being created under Julian. And you've just got to wonder, maybe this is a positive sign. Are we basically being proactive? Are we getting this young 21-year-old in to potentially be a replacement to one of these guys? It does make you wonder that. But for now, and for the rest of the season, it's really good to know that we're going to have some strength in depth. And I'm personally really excited to see him. I think you guys should be too, because he does look like he's just going to offer a hell of a lot. And I'm really interested to see the future of our midfield. You know, you're going to have the likes of Boubacar Traore, who I think, again, will be a really good player, a young player as well. You've now got Joao GOMES is coming in. Looks like he can do the really hustle and bustle in that midfield. And when you add Lamina to that as well as another new signing, it does feel now that we're going to have a bit of power and a bit of might in that midfield. And hopefully we can start to win some more of those midfield battles. And I think that at times has been our bit of a downfall this season. But sometimes I just feel we get not overrun, but we could kind of lose the strength test at times in those battles. But guys, let me know your thoughts. Hopefully I have covered everything you need to know about the player and you won't need to go and do some other further research. But if you have enjoyed the video, please do hit that like button. Please do subscribe. And What do we reckon then, guys? Can we get out of this relegation scrap? And will we start off by getting a massive 3 points against West Ham? Do let me know in the comments. And hopefully I'll catch you on another video. Have a great start to the weekend. Take care. Goodbye.